A Flexbox allows you to lay out and align components in a smart and efficient way. Let's go ahead and add a Flexbox to our space. Let's call it box 1, and then let's go to the components section and start adding child components to our Flexbox. So for the sake of this demo, we're just going to add 3 simple form components so I can show you how Flexboxes will arrange and let you align different components. So we'll just pick any insert function to use here, and then we'll go back to our box and insert the next form. And then let's go back to our Flexbox and add one final form. So now that we have our Flexbox, let's hop over to design to see all the different options that you have here. So you can see that you can lay out your components in a horizontal direction. You can also choose to lay them out in a vertical direction. You can also change the alignment horizontally if you wanted to left align or to right align. Actually make this a little bit larger so you can see the effect that that has there. You can center it, you can space evenly, or space around the area. And so there are a lot of different options that you have to choose from. And you can also add various amounts of padding in between your components. Now, one of the most popular ways to use Flexboxes is to use visibility rules in order to determine what child components are actually appearing within the Flexbox. And this is a way for you to dynamically show, form A if this condition is true, or form B, or a different button if another condition is true. So let's use an example with a drop-down component. And let's just create a very simple drop-down where we're going to say option 1 is show all, and option 2 is going to allow us to hide that last form. And the default value will be to show all. And so if we go back to our last component here, the last form, and we go to configure this, we'll have visibility rules here at the bottom. And if we add a new rule, we can bind this to the dropdown that we just created. And we say if the dropdown's value is equal to show, then we want to show this. Otherwise, this form won't be shown. Now let's go back to our Flexbox and to the design. And let's just change the spacing to be space around. So this will give you a better sense of what the Flexbox is doing once we hide a component. So let's go ahead and publish. And now you can see it defaults to showing all 3 forms, but if we use our drop down to hide the last form, you'll see the last form is hidden and the Flexbox has kind of redistributed components evenly across the space of the Flexbox. Now I'll leave you with another popular example. This time, we have a table in which we've inserted a Flexbox as a column. So you'll see this Flexbox called Action is the first column in our table. And within this Flexbox, we've inserted 3 buttons that act on the data within this table, the Approve, Reject, and Resubmit button. And this will allow us to change the status column of each one of these submissions. Now, we only want to show the approve or reject button if the status is submitted. So let's go into the button's configuration and go into the visibility rules. And let's say the approve button should be shown when the data in this row, the status is equal to submitted. And let's go ahead and do the same thing for the reject button. Finally, for the resubmit button, this is a button that we only want to appear when the status is rejected. So let's go ahead, bind the status, and when the status is equal to rejected, we want to show the resubmit button. Let's go ahead and publish our tool. And now you can see that the options here are dynamic and the buttons change based on the rules that we just set. That's it. Those are the basics of how to use a Flexbox.